Hey guys, welcome to Insights and Influencers podcast. This is your host, Alana.
And this is Gracie.
And this is your podcast all behind the scenes of influencing culture.
On this podcast, we talk about the business side of influencing, how to get started, opportunities that influencing can bring, positives and negatives, and more.
Every episode, we will have a special guest who is involved in the influencing business to catch up with their experience. This week, we have the guest,
Kelsey Barker. What's up, guys?
All right, so we'll just jump right into it. So, Kelsey, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your platforms?
Yeah, I guess my influencer background started a long time ago. I was kind of like a tomboy growing up, and I got into this hobby of finger skateboarding called fingerboarding, and it was a very online community. This was we're talking 2011. So I was 10, and it was all online, so the only way to really meet people that also did it was to post videos on YouTube. And a really popular thing to do was unboxing videos. So every time I ordered something, I would unbox it on YouTube. And then I kept going. I started posting more and more, and grew that platform over the course of 9 years to 90K followers, until I recently stopped it. Being in college, just kind of fell out of it. So and then I picked up a new hobby, sort of lifestyle of fitness and lifting in the gym. And a couple years ago now, I started a fitness platform on Instagram, mostly Kelsey Barker Fit.
So can you talk about what different platforms you're on?
Well, I guess I'm technically on YouTube with both of those things. I haven't deleted any of the fingerboarding history. It's kind of like a time capsule for me. But right now, I started doing some YouTube videos and just travel vlogs and stuff on YouTube on my fitness sort of lifestyle account.
I'm on one of them.
Yeah,
Shout out to me.
Alana's on one because I did a couple when we were studying abroad in Spain. But yeah, so I'm on YouTube. I kind of don't think I'm going to continue with that. I don't know yet. And it's mainly just Instagram now.
So what made you switch from fingerboarding to fitness? You just felt like you grew out of it, and how did that transformation go between the two?
Yeah, so I felt like a really big responsibility just having such a big audience when I was kind of the figurehead of an entire community, essentially.
You were young.
I was young. I was hosting events, actual places where people would travel from across the United States to go to these events. And so I just had a lot of weight on my shoulders with it, and kind of grew up with some of my followers in a sense, because it was from age 10 to 11ish. But when I started getting my audience, I was more like 13. And then until I was probably 20 or so, and I just kind of reflected on it. The last year that I had that I was posting videos on the channel, I was just really having to grind them out. I didn't really want to make them. And I wasn't feeling inspired. It didn't reflect who I was anymore. It was literally 5% of who I was. And so I had really boxed myself in that way. And then I kind of took that lesson and maybe did the same thing with fitness influencing a little bit, made it really about fitness. And now I'm in a weird spot where I'm trying to back myself out of it before all the walls close in.
So what are your current follower counts on your different platforms? I know you said you have a YouTube channel. Do you have Instagram or Facebook? What else do you have? And what are your follower counts?
My fingerboard channels, I think they've stayed pretty much 90,000 subscribers on YouTube and 30-something thousand on Instagram. And then my fitness stuff is failure to launch a little bit, but it's more my fault of failure to commit to posting consistently. I think that's pretty much the secret. And YouTube just does take a lot of dedication. So I'd say there's a couple hundred subscribers on YouTube, and I did hit 10K at one point on my fitness account. It's since lost over 400 because I stopped posting really trendy reels and stuff because it was just making me tired.
So this might be somewhat unrelated to your fitness stuff, but when you started fingerboarding, did you start that in an attempt to become an influencer and build that platform up to 90K, or was it just something that you like to do and wanted to post about?
Yeah, not at all. In the fingerboard community, I guess, there was very, very, very few people that actually had these accounts. And the ones that did and were popular had maybe 10K. I never thought, like, the max top most famous guy in all of fingerboarding, like, if you fingerboard, you know exactly who he is. He only had like 100,000 at the time. So I started it because I thought that's just what you had to do. Like, that's the only thing I knew. And I kind of like a challenge, so into the videography and photography from a young age as well.
I feel like there was a time when like all of us like started a YouTube channel doing like random stuff, but only like some people ended up sticking to it. Like I would do these little like videos in my room when I was like 11 years old, but obviously never stuck to it. But
yeah, no,
that's awesome that, you stuck to it and grew that much at such a young age. I feel like that's like really a big commitment. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't set out to do it, but I've learned a lot of commitment through that experience and other things as well growing up. So it definitely taught me a lot.
Props to you, Kelsey. So, like, how do you think you grew your following so high then compared to now? Like, that you're saying you're losing followers.
Yeah, I think that it was the strategy of picking a very niche market to target. I didn't consciously know that that's what was happening. And then I did have a bit of an advantage. I always joke that my followers kind of skyrocketed once I hit puberty because all my followers are little boys or were. So once I started not looking like a troll, then they started subscribing more. And then I also just had more and more responsibility with the events that I was having. I was showing more face, going to like national different events and meetups that they were having, and actually showing my face places and autographs and photos or whatnot. But then compared to the fitness community, it is so oversaturated, which is why instead of kind of trying to compete with the best and, get 100K followers, I've kind of derailed and, I'm in school for marketing. I want to get a job in marketing after graduation this semester. And I don't see my ideal dream job being in fitness influencing. So I'm kind of just now having it as a platform for myself to be creative.
That's awesome. So I do like kind of influencing on Instagram too. I have like my own Instagram page, which is where I mainly focus on, and then have a little platform on there. But I wanted to ask you about like your Instagram specifically and what you did to like grow your following on there with your fitness account and how you did it.
Yeah, I could tell you literally exactly how I did it. So now it kind of became harder for me, but essentially I'd say about a year ago this time, there were trending audios that would come across my phone, like really funny kind of, there were words, not really music compilations or anything, like, kind of Vine, TikTok-esque. And I would just kind of take that concept or whatever kind of comedic joke that was trying to be portrayed, and I would take that and apply it to fitness and try to make it relatable. So most of the time it involved like, oh, when you see your gym crush, or, I don't know, just the relatable things that people talk about online. So combine trending audio with like a pretty decent setup in the gym, like always filming my content in the gym on the green turf or something like that. And then I had, about a dozen or so of those reels skyrocketed to like hundreds of thousands of views, and got a lot of followers from that. But now I've since kind of, first of all, the audios that I used to like are not really hitting me anymore. They're not really trending. So I kind of lost that. And then I also just didn't really want to make them anymore. And when you don't get a lot of views or you get less than you were expecting, and it's kind of disappointing, and it makes you not want to even try.
Yeah, I totally feel that. That happens to me too.
Yeah, and the algorithm's so flaky, but everybody likes to blame it on the algorithm.
Oh, I totally agree. Do you see any like negatives and positives of influencing? Because you've been doing it for so long. Like, what have you noticed in the field of influencing?
You know, it's been my personal opinion never to be too political or polarizing, but in recent years, I'd say that's kind of what gets you those views. I don't think there's any one secret. I think it's really important to know who you are and what you're trying to do and have a plan. And I think with the Kelsey Fingerboards account, I knew exactly who my character, in a sense, was. And I didn't stray very far from that. I was always very enthusiastic, upbeat, made people feel like they were there with me. I've struggled to find my voice like that in the fitness kind of world just because what I want to do and what I want to post doesn't really resonate.
Yeah, I feel that too. That's there's a lot of positives and negatives of, I feel like, anything, but so you mentioned in the last question that I asked you about how like your reels on Instagram, you had some that got like 100,000 views plus, and that's how you really grew. Did you have a TikTok account too that you posted those like TikToks to and then repurpose them into your reels, or did you just focus on Instagram?
Something about me is I'm really adverse to like trends and stuff like that typically, so I barely use TikTok ever at all for any purpose.
I can testify for that one. I tried to make her a TikTok when we were in Spain.
Yeah.
We tried.
So how did you find these like trending audios and make those videos just from
Instagram trending audios? Like you can see if the audio has an up arrow, that means it's trending. And generally just going on your explore page and swiping to find them. That's how I did it. I could not tell you if they were trending on TikTok too or not. But yeah, so I probably should have if I was trying to be smart about it. But then it's just like a whole nother thing to take my attention away from just one thing.
So we have the question: do you have any brand deals that you work with?
Well, back in the fingerboard days, the people that had the fingerboard businesses, they didn't have a lot of money, and it wasn't popular at all to like get paid to kind of review something. It was more a payment in the form of products. So I got a lot of free products to just unbox and review and post, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, and just me unboxing and putting the word out. I'm assuming got those companies some sales. In the fitness world, I got some offers, but it's just not really what I'm trying to do. I got an email from like my Fitness Pal or something, couple $100. I did one time with a hair tie company, and they sent me some hair ties. I don't think I got paid for that.
Similar to like brand deals, what do you feel about merch? Like, did you ever have a merch account, or like not account, but did you ever like sell merch, or like how do you feel about merch for influencers?
I love me some merch. I designed a lot of my own merch when I had my fingerboard stuff. I think I had like 3 or 4 different designs that sold. I also I would sell my merch at the different events that I went to. Not for like a huge profit, because I wasn't trying to be like that, but for a little bit. So all those sort of merch ventures or different kind of wholesale product things that I did was to fund the events that I was hosting as well.
That's cool. I like hearing about too, like your brand deals and business side of it, because like I said, I have like a platform on Instagram, so I have almost 14,000 on Instagram, but I do like fashion, lifestyle, travel stuff. So I feel like that's obviously different than fitness, and we have probably different audiences. So we can try to dive into a little bit of like how that differs and how like your online community on Instagram differs from mine. So I don't know, like you said that you have recently seen like a fluctuation in your follower count or like your engagement count. And I've been saying the same thing. And I feel like a lot of people that I know, like people that do fashion influencing like I do, have seen the same thing. And do you ever have like a month or a season where your content seems to do better than other times?
I could definitely speak to that on my fingerboard stuff. I would monetize my YouTube videos, and a huge, like almost double increase from November to January. I always suspected, because probably people that are fingerboarding are skateboarding too, and they can't skateboard when it's snowing. That was my assumption. But I can't say that I really saw a huge difference with my fitness. Maybe maybe the summertime, I think. That could have been combined with the fact that I was home at one of the most popular gyms in the U.S. So, yeah, I couldn't. Actually, the spring, my reels really popped off last year.
Do you think that's because it's like leading into summer and a lot of people want to like start working out closer to summer and feel good about themselves?
Definitely could be a combination of like spring break, New Year's resolutions, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, do you see a high fluctuation of followers and engagement in January or like December? Because I feel like that's a big New Year's resolution for people. They're like, oh, I want to start working out. Like, I'm gonna follow all these fitness people and like get inspiration and put that as their goal for the year.
Yeah, I'd say maybe not December or November, kind of, because they might be just eating a bunch of food for the holidays and they don't want to think about it. But I'd say around, February, this time of year, it could be pretty beneficial. It's sort of what I would actually want to ask you is, how do you target your audiences with multiple different categories like fitness, travel, fashion, whatever it might be?
On the summertime, I focus more on travel, obviously, since I'm here during the school year and it's harder for me to, travel when I have classes and stuff. So this past summer, it was easy to target people that way just because I was able to travel, and I had a job, but I only worked like 1 or 2 days a week. So then the other days I was able to drive to the beach or whatever, go visit family and stuff. But now with the fashion stuff, I feel like a big thing is like hashtags and stuff. I don't know if you use hashtags and keywords on your Instagram, but I use those on like every post and just hashtag what my post is about, like fashion inspiration or like OOTD, all that stuff. And I feel like that helps. And then also, like, I've met a few friends that live in Winston-Salem and Greensboro that also do fashion and lifestyle content. And I think it's good to like meet up with people or like have people in your corner that are into the same thing as you and are passionate about the same things, because it's like, I love my roommates and stuff, but they aren't necessarily into like the influencing fashion world. So it's like, I can talk about it with them all day, but it's like if you really do it, you understand more, like the behind the scenes and what goes on really.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if we move into sort of talking about the future of what I might do, right now my fitness Instagram is in a place where I don't necessarily want it to be every post like me in the gym or something, but if I don't post me in the gym as the first picture, I don't get likes, because I think my audience has just grown accustomed to it.
Yeah, and that's like your niche at this point, so it's like hard to switch niches once you already have such a big platform with like fitness.
Yeah, I think it's doable, and it's kind of what I'm aiming for, is to back out of the niche. I want to do like travel and food, because I'm a huge foodie and I love to cook as well. So lately what I've been doing is more of like a photo dump of, maybe it starts with me in the gym or something like that, but then it kind of goes into slides of like different self-help books I'm reading, or something I ate that week, or somewhere I went. So I've been trying to figure that out, but I don't want to put too much pressure on it.
Yeah, I understand.
I find that really interesting because I feel like you see all those old influencers we followed in middle school and high school, and like now a lot of them are trying to make a comeback, but like they're trying to switch over, and I feel like it's been like a really slow start for them. Mm-hmm. So like, to base off that, like, do you see yourself continuing to do this down the line and after graduation?
I think there will always be a part of me, whether I switch over to like my personal Instagram and make that public. It's hard to imagine, because I'm sure you guys kind of know your personal Instagram standards of, people that you went to school with especially are going to expect something very different from what you actually do day to day. And so I typically just post pictures of me when I'm not in the United States on my Instagram. Like, if you look at the past couple ones, it's because I wasn't here. But I think that there's always going to be a part of me that wants to sort of inspire people and share my own perspective. I've recently kind of transitioned into writing my own blog that sort of serves the purpose of me posting my thoughts or different travel things that I did or saw, with some of my professional experience. So I've been trying to build my brand in that sense.
That's cool. That's like really interesting. And are you a senior?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So that's how, like, after I graduate, my hope is to continue doing this, but I understand what you're saying about how, like, people on your personal Instagram expect different things. And I just have my personal, like, that's what I've grown on because that's the only one that I have. But it's like sometimes my content will do better than others, and it's people that I actually know that are liking my content when it's like interesting things. If I go on like a fun trip or I'm posting something, and then I'll have other photos that do better beyond people I don't know, like it on the explore page and et cetera, et cetera. So it's like interesting to see the dynamic between like what content does good on, I guess for you, like your personal account versus your fitness account, because you have two completely different audiences on both of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I don't know if this is like an old way of thinking, but no matter what you post on or post about, I think that people are always looking for that root authenticity, and they want to truly connect and understand who you are. And that's why the people that engage, the people that follow you without a second agenda are the ones that actually care about who you are and what you think. And that's why I'm not super bothered that my account's dropping from like 10K to 9,500, because, you know, if they're unfollowing me, then they don't get who I am, and they don't really care to listen about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes I feel like it's hard to be like genuine and authentic on social media, but that's what people really want to see. Like the influencers that I follow, I feel like they are showing their true self, and it's not that just them like posing for a screen and then not showing what their life is actually like. I just think that it's like a two-way street, and you know, sometimes it's hard to have that balance between both of them, but it's important too.
Yeah, and I think like you're not always going to be rainbows and sunshines how your Instagram might be. And even I would argue that I've seen some people, especially in the fitness community, it kind of goes hand in hand with like mental health sometimes. And some people kind of build their brand or get attention by just posting videos of them crying. And I'm like, okay, there's an in between. You're not always like overjoyed or depressed. Like there's got to be something in the middle that we could just chill out and agree on.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that's what people are looking for now, is the realness from people, not just like, oh, like you can kind of tell they're being fake, or like they're not doing what they're trying to say. Mm-hmm. I think that's what the target of everyone they're looking for is, the realness in the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Just because they're crying doesn't mean it's realness.
No. But thank you so much for Kelsey for coming onto our podcast and giving us a little bit of insight of being what it's like to be an influencer.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun learning about like your side of things from the fitness and then the YouTube side, and then comparing it with what I know and what we've learned about so far, like in our social media major. It's really interesting to see how it all comes full circle.
So make sure to follow us on Instagram for daily updates, and stay tuned for our website coming soon. Tune in next time.
If you have any questions for the host, feel free to reach out to us on any of our platforms. We have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and like Alana said, a website coming soon.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Peace out.